Well, I know, but just kind of peeves. Oh, we can put on stop video and we can go outside and smoke. Yay! Well, so anyway.
Yeah, I'm in. We still got.
William Billy Ray Goins, a man of integrity, a life of service. To whom honor is owed, honor is due. William Ray Goins, affectionately known as Billy Ray to some and Bill to others, was such a man. We could not begin this virtual convening without first honoring Bill. Bill was born in Rushville, Indiana on December 15, 1952, to a loving family that will one day become very loud and very rambunctious. Bill was the sixth child out of 9 born to Joseph and Luella Bradley Goins. We pay respect to his 2 sons, Derek and Trevor, his granddaughters, Kirsten and Kira, his brothers and sisters. Bill loved his family and they thought the world of him. There was not any place he would not bring his mother, and she adored him too. They are together now. Love sustains this family. Thank you, Doris, for helping me fill in the family section. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett would tell you that Bill fancied himself as a basketball star. He left home to give service to his country in the United States Army. He returned after being honorably discharged in 1974. A man of integrity, a life of service. Bill was a plumber, pipe fitter by profession. He worked for over 30 years with Visteon, active with his union, IUE, CWA, Local 919. When Visteon announced that they were closing their doors, Bill traveled to Washington, D.C. and lobbied successfully for federal funding to help his federal employees obtain training and further their education through the Trade Act program. Bill lent his talents to many community organizations and institutions. Worley Youth and Family Treatment Center, Board of Directors, Development Chair. Rush County Boys and Girls Club, President. Elks Lodge, President of the Board of Directors. Open Book Literacy, Board of Directors. Rush County Foundation Advisory Board. City of Rushville, Board of Works. Ivy Tech Community College, Board of Directors for 9 years. A life of service. Billy Ray was a Rushville City Councilman for 16 years, and of 8 of those years, serving as president of the City Council. During his tenure, he served under 5 mayors, a man of integrity. Although Bill would and could make people and organizations believe that they were the most important in his life, Ivy Tech Community College thought that he loved them best. But I know for a fact that it was actually the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and more particularly, the Fayette Henry Rush County branch, and the Indiana State Conference that had his heart. He was a charter member and president of the Fayette Henry Rush branch for more than 30 years. Bill served as first vice president of the Indiana State Conference for 17 years. It was his responsibility to plan our annual state convention each year. He took that responsibility very seriously. In fact, exactly 1 week before he passed, we were in Lafayette looking at a possible hotel to host our 2020 state convention. And then he left us. You could call Bill the fixer. He worked behind the scenes to make sure that the state conference and state convention ran smoothly. He would travel whenever and wherever needed to smooth rough feathers, quash little squabbles, and oversee local elections. Bill knew everybody. He was a quiet-spoken man who always carried a big stick. You would never see him visibly shaken. I personally believe that he gave the slogan to Gillette for their deodorant, "Never let them see you sweat." Bill rendered immeasurable service to the association. He would make several visits to the convention location to make sure they understood our needs. He would be the first person on site a day before the early registration day. But he did not do it alone. He had his sidekicks, his sister Doris McDougall and Becky Gibson. They never made it through any sessions because they were busy changing signs on doors, making sure everyone knew where they were supposed to be, and making sure they got there. It was Bill's duty also to preside over the memorial service. He often said that he believed this was the most important part of the convention. Even included the time when he lost his leg. I never saw such strength or courage and a positive disposition as Bill exhibited during that time. Never, ever a moment of self-pity. He could not wait until he got his prosthesis. He was then ready to run marathons. Let's add strength of character. At the start of the convention, Bill would give this speech. When we arrived at this meeting, there was all kinds of hugging and kissing going on. There might be a little hell while we're together, but before we leave, we will kiss and hug again before we go. Thank you, Becky, for remembering those words. And so, as we prepare to kick off this virtual convening, we say thank you to William Ray Gohan. You were my friend, my mentor, my example, my hero. We love you, Billy Ray, and we hope we make you proud. A man of integrity, strength of character, a life of service.
Lift Every Voice and Sing was an original poem written by former NAAP leader James Weldon Johnson.
James's brother, John Rosman Johnson, set the poem to music in 1899. Soon after, it was adopted by the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, for its official song.
With its compelling nature and its mighty call to action, this song is arguably the most influential anthem of our time.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
rise for Lift Every Voice and Sing.
thou who hast led us this far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us through the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray.
Straight from the places are not where we meant to be. Bless our hearts, struck with the wine of the world we forget thee. Shall we, my love, will we forever stand true to our God, true to our
Hello and welcome to the 2020 Indiana State NAACP virtual convening. I'm Sandra Chapman, 13 Investigates reporter with WTHR 13 News right here in Indianapolis. It is my distinct honor to serve as your MC for this power-packed weekend. Our theme this year, surviving, thriving, done dying, we win. Wow. What an impactful statement for such a time as this. We all know that 2020 has hit us all very hard. It means that the mission of the NAACP has never been more important. The NAACP is the largest civil rights organization in the nation. Since it was founded in 1909, that's 111 years ago, the organization has grown to include 2,200 units across the nation and more than 2 million activists. The mission of the NAACP is to secure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights in order to eliminate race-based discrimination and to ensure the health and well-being of all persons. This year's convening will feature a wide range of events and activities that are sure to be a draw for you as well. Some of the highlights include an opening plenary session, the year in review, a keynote speech, AXO presentations, a memorial service, webinars, awards presentations, and a closing plenary session as well. Now, I know we're all excited to get started, but first, a word from one of our valuable sponsors, Ivy Tech Community College.
Hi, I'm Sue Ellspermann, president of Ivy Tech Community College. Welcome to the 2020 NAACP Indiana State Conference. That was such a moving tribute to Bill Goins. As some may know, Bill served as a trustee on our state board for many years. He was known and loved for his service to and his passion for all Hoosiers. In his memory, we established the Bill Goins Spirit of Diversity Award, which is presented to individuals and teams on the Ivy Tech campus who have proven they are helping us to become a diverse and equitable college where everyone belongs. Now, Ivy Tech is proud to again partner with the NAACP. We proudly serve more than 150,000 students each year on campus, online, and in our high schools with dual credit. But did you know that over 50% of all Black students enrolled in college or universities in Indiana are actually enrolled at Ivy Tech? Further, we are committed to ensuring the success of all of our students to complete credentials that they need to launch these high-wage, high-value careers right here in Indiana. Once again, we are so pleased to partner with the NAACP. Have a great virtual conference.
Every great organization relies on effective leadership. It's my pleasure to introduce the Indiana State Conference President, Attorney Barbara Bowling Williams. She has served in her current capacity since 2003. President Bowling Williams was also the Gary Branch President for 6 years. Over the course of her service, she has contributed to the sustainability of the organization by serving as a member of the National Board of Directors for the last 8 years. In addition, she has focused her time on several committees. Those committees include AXO Chair, Vice Chair of Criminal Justice, Environmental Climate and Justice Advocacy, the Policy Committee, and Life Membership. President Bowling Williams is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, initiated in 1975. She is married to Terrence Williams, and they have 5 children and 4 grandchildren. Please join me in welcoming my soror and the Indiana State Conference President, Barbara Bowling Williams.
Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he would be the one who wouldn't say so till he tried. So he buckled right in with the trace of a grin on his face. If he worried, he hid it. He started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. Somebody scoffed, "Oh, you never do that. At least no one ever has done it." But he took off his coat, he took off his hat, and the first thing he knew, he'd begun it. With a lift of his chin and a bit of a grin, without any doubting or quit it, he started to sing as he tackled the thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you that it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesize failure. There are thousands to point out that you one by one, the dangers that wait and assail you. But just buckle in with a bit of a grin. Just take off your coat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. Thank you, Sandra, for that introduction. Thank you to our sponsors, PNC Bank, Ivy Tech College, and IU Health. And thank you all for attending. Good evening, everyone. It is my immense joy that I welcome you to this virtual convening that they said couldn't be done. Pandemic imposed itself on every aspect of our lives. How we shop, how we educate our children, how or whether we can even get a haircut, but more substantively, how we vote. The Indiana State Conference engaged in substantial voter protection, working to extend the receipt deadline of mail and absentee ballots, challenging misinformation and incorrect information disseminated by county election officials, advocating for clean and renewable energy sources. We resourced 2 environmental climate justice projects in this state. One such project was the installation of solar panels on a local community center located in the historically Black area of Evansville, Indiana, producing a substantial savings in their electric bill and adding a job component to train unemployed and underemployed workers who know how to install solar panels. We provided funding to help with payment of utility bills to keep lights on in the cold. I'm proud to lift up Crystal and Byron Radcliffe because of Byron's work on the new racial profiling bill in our state is being named after Byron. Congratulations. And welcome to Minister Elijah Lee. I am so pleased to have you and your family. We salute you and the work that you do fighting for abused children at that tender age of 13. Happy birthday, Elijah. Our work continues. Another Black man was executed yesterday in Terre Haute. Too many of our Black and brown brothers and sisters now have death sentences because they're in jail and prisons with inadequate care and safety measures to protect against COVID-19. We still do not have a real hate crime in this state. The news is not doom and gloom. We want to let you know that our work continues in spite of, or maybe because of, the circumstances in which we find ourselves. We need you. As I bring my remarks to a close, I invite you to attend the workshops tomorrow, for it is in our workshops that our training continues on how to do the work that we do for the people who we do it more effectively and more efficiently. So we are striving, surviving, done dying. We win. Thank you and enjoy our virtual convening.
Wonderful words from President Bowling. We're all excited to move forward, but it's also important for us to take time to assess where we are right now. 2020 is a year for the record books. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but the fight for civil rights must not stop. In fact, news reporters all across this nation, including myself, have shown the disproportionate impact of this health crisis on people of color. That's just one of the emerging issues. Let's take a look back. This year in review, we have captured and highlight some of the work branches across our state have carried out to make sure that justice and equality are reality. word from one of our sponsors, PNC Bank.
Hello, I'm Pat Gamble Moore, Senior Vice President of Community Development Banking at PNC. On behalf of PNC and all of my colleagues here in the region, I'm honored to be here with you and extend PNC support of this year's state conference. Thank you to the NAACP staff and members for successful execution of this virtual gathering, especially as we come together to recognize National ACSO medalists, Ms. Naomi Martin and Ms. Devin Lockett. I'd like to send a special thank you to my longtime colleague and friend, Denise Abdul Rahman, for her tireless work and commitment to environmental justice. Thanks for all you do for the residents of Indiana, Denise. We appreciate each and every one of you and your commitment and support for the NAACP and all it does for civic engagement and the fight for equality. At PNC, it's important for us to create synergy with organizations like the NAACP, who, like us, are focused on building connections to advance our impact as leaders, advocates, and members of our communities across the state. As a Main Street bank, we know what it means to advocate locally. We do that every day, delivering on our strategic priorities while looking out for the best interest of all of our stakeholders, both employees, customers, and in the communities where we live and work. I myself am committed to serving on local boards such as Second Helpings, Renew Indianapolis, New Hope of Indiana, and Volunteers of America, so that I can see diversity and inclusion efforts and advise our local PNC African American Employee Business Resource Group. Since 2015, PNC has supported countless regional early education initiatives through Grow Up Great, our signature bilingual $500 million multi-year initiative to help prepare children from birth to age 5 for success in school and life. In Indiana alone, PNC has helped distribute over $9 million in grants and investments this year to organizations like the United Ways in 7 counties, Early Learning Indiana, Edna Martin Christian Community Center, PACE, Northwest Indiana Reinvestment Alliance, Bankable, Vincent Village, Fort Wayne Urban League, and the Kokomo Rescue Mission, to name a few. These grants supported early childhood, affordable housing, economic development, small business owners, and other community services in underserved neighborhoods throughout Indiana. This year, PNC committed more than $1 billion to help end systemic racism and empower Black Americans and invest in low and moderate income communities. This commitment also encompasses $50 million in additional charitable support to promote social justice, expand financial education and workforce development initiatives, and enhance low-income neighborhood revitalization and affordable housing. We are excited to think about what that will mean for the communities we serve. Thank you.
The ACSO program is a hallmark of the organization. It's my pleasure to introduce Jenna Payne from the Gary Branch ACSO Committee with an overview and presentation of the ACSO National Gold winner, Naomi Martin.
Hello, my name is Gina Payne, and I am from the Gary, Indiana branch of NAACP. I am also the chairperson for the ACSO program. ACSO. What is ACSO? ACSO, A-C-T-S-O, is the acronym for Afro-Academic, Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics. ACSO is a year-long program that is an achievement program that is designed to recruit, stimulate, and encourage high academic and cultural achievement among African American high school students. That's grades 9th through 12th. ACSO's program begins in the fall of each year, local communities throughout the United States. That is over 250 units that participate in the ACSO program locally. ACSO has 33 different categories that our students can compete in. Those categories are STEM, humanities, business, performing arts, visual arts, culinary, and hospitality. Among those different categories, our students can compete in up to 3 categories. The program begins in the fall and it ends in the spring with a local competition. During that local competition, students are able to compete amongst their peers for gold, silver, and bronze medals. All gold medalists from the local competition is invited to compete on a national level, which is held each year in July during the National NAACP Convention. On a larger scale, the AXL program, they compete against their peers throughout the United States for scholarship dollars, awards, and cash prizes. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Gary, Indiana's local gold medalists that went on this year to compete on a national level. She competed in music, instrumental, classical. At this time, Naomi Martin.
Hi, my name is Naomi Martin and I'm representing the Gary branch of the NAACP. I'm a rising senior at Westside Leadership Academy in Gary, Indiana, and today I'll be performing for you Rondo a Capriccio by Beethoven.
Well done. From great work to words of inspiration. We're just moments away from our keynote speaker. Please welcome Sadie Harper Scott, the Lafayette Branch President and Political Action Chair, to introduce us all to Elijah Lee.
I say hello and good evening. On behalf of our state conference, Barbara Bolin Williams, and Indiana National Association for the Advancement of Colored People State Conference virtual convening. I am both honored and blessed for my assigned task this evening to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Honorable Elijah Lee. Just reached his 13th-year-old birthday this past Saturday, December 5th, 2020. Amazing, Mr. Elijah Lee was a native of Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. Now resides in Virginia with his amazing mother, Miss Jessica Lee, and siblings. As a theme this evening, surviving, thriving, done dying, we win. Our amazing Elijah, as he is officially 13 years young, he is best known as gracious 13-year-old community activist, public speaker. He is an advocate for children, an ordained minister. Early in first grade, he learned to be the courageous voice for one of his classmates who was experiencing child abuse. Leader, master, learning of the power in marching for historical leaders, such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Congressman Good Trouble John Lewis. Elijah is an organizer. Organized his first annual child abuse march at the age of 10, 2018, with an attendance record of 450. When Elijah accepted the NAACP invitation with President Barbara Bolin Williams, the afternoon following an amazing closing prayer by Elijah for the NAACP Indiana board meeting. Interested as virtual as we are planning, Elijah preferred to offer his message this evening live. How precious. While our theme ties right in with this evening, brave trooper Elijah and his huge heart, his work and his importance. His reply to President Barbara Bolin Williams in bold typing, please know that I am excited to serve as the keynote speaker for the NAACP State Conference on this December 11th, 2020. Elijah's quote, I would prefer to offer my message live. Please let me know also if it is okay that I focus on gratitude for the past work and the need to incorporate young people into our future activism. I will emphasize an urgency to change laws and make permanent changes that perpetuate racism. I am grateful for the NAACP and the work of the NAACP, says Elijah. While I can go on and on about a young leader, I now introduce to some and present to others, amazing, honorable, trooper, a minister, leader, organized, and on who he is. Honorable Elijah Lee.
I would like to thank Ms. Sadie Harper Scott so much for this amazing invitation. It is my honor to be before you all today. So I would like to start by saying good evening, Indiana NAACP. I would, of course, like to give another thank you to Ms. Bowling Williams for allowing me to join you tonight. Before I get started, I would like to acknowledge my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I would also like to thank all of you for working continuously and tirelessly to prepare a way for my generation. I like to take a minute to reflect on all the work that has been done. The years of struggle, the years of marching, the years of the NAACP working in states where Black men and women couldn't go to the same bathroom as their Caucasian counterparts. These were years to ensure I had access to a strong education. These were years to ensure I could one day go to the college of my choice. These were years to ensure that my two older brothers will be able to vote in their coming up presidential election. Today, I thank the NAACP for those years. Today, I thank the NAACP for creating the circumstances and opportunities for me to thrive. As we know, there is still work to be done. There is still good trouble for us to get into. Today, young people of color still do not receive an equitable education. COVID-19 has only widened the gap between the haves and the have-nots. Many young people were forced to move onto virtual learning platforms requiring internet and service. Internet and service people of color don't have. Internet and service people of color can't afford because their below minimum wage job simply isn't enough. Internet and service people of color don't have because of the generational curses known as redlining. Today, we are still struggling with the constant darkness of police brutality. As we look to the books of our younger stories, we hear the stories of dogs and of hoses. You hear stories of how officers tailgated these young, innocent students. You hear the stories of how policemen time after time killed innocent Black men and women for no true reason. I stand here to remind us all that we are still in that struggle. We still have to have the Black man versus officer conversation. We still have to be in this fear that our race may be a weapon. For so long, we fought to fix the system. We fought to fix a system that perpetuated slavery. We fought to fix a system that benefited from mass incarceration. We fought to fix a system that wanted young people of color prison bound. We fought to fix a system that didn't care about bomb charges or George Floyd's or the Breonna Taylors. It is time that we realize that the system is working perfectly fine. The system was built and made this way. Today, we must fight to change the system. Today, we must fight to change the system that so long perpetuated the ideology of racism. The young generation is ready to do just that. We have studied the Kings and the Malcolms, the Hueys, the Bobbies, the Angelas. We have studied the system that has kept us down for too long. We have done our research. It is now time for us to act. It is now time for us to rise to the occasion and use our voices. Now is the time to incorporate our young people into this process. I stand here as a representative of thousands of young people, people of color, people who are Caucasian, people who are Latinx and other, young people who are ready to fight, young people who are ready to march, young people who are ready to lead, young people who are ready to be the change they so long wish to see in our world. Young people who are ready to be the light that drives out that darkness. Young people who are ready to be that love that drives out our hate. As a young activist fighting against child abuse, I know the power of marching, the energy of joy, the power of changing coursing through your veins. However, while this feeling is nice, we need to start with our laws. We need to work on our bills. We need to put the policies and laws in place so that we can all one day join Mr. King on the mountaintop. We need to put those laws in place and policies in place that would guarantee that my generation will be the last that will have to understand the hate that comes with their melanin. As I begin to close, I want to remind you all that we must stay united. We need to bring our women to the table. We need to bring our young people to the table. I like to remind us all that the NAACP was not just about one Black man, but a group of equitable people, people that believed in the ideology of equality, white and Black people alike, who were ready to recognize the system that put them down. We need to join on one accord and say no to the system. We need to all join on one accord and say no to the inequality that we have for hundreds of years faced. When one falls, we all fall. But when one rises, we all rise. Now is the time to rise up, united as one people. Thank you and good night.
Thank you so much, Elijah. I mean, my goodness. You know, I was impressed with our conversation by you, and you are just amazing. And I certainly, you know, that message. At this time, we're going to open up for questions and answers. So you can enter your questions in the chat, and Elijah would be happy to respond to them. I will be monitoring the chat on his behalf. So I am going to look and see if there's anything in the chat that you'd like Elijah to answer. Before, I guess, people are formulating their questions, I would like to say to you, Elijah, you started forming your marches back in 2018. How many people were with you? How many people joined you on that march?
So in my very first march, we actually had over 200 people in attendance. And then in my second march, we had over 250 people in attendance. And then for my third and most recent march, which was, I believe, March 7th of 2020, we had over 450 people in attendance.
Wow. So there's a question in the chat that says, what were your strategies getting people to mobilize for your marches?
So my personal strategies was simply allowing people to understand what was at stake here. I think that coming from a rural area, the question of child abuse, it wasn't a conversation that was being had. It wasn't a conversation that no one ever talked about. And I think I was with the scenario with a lot of different things, whether that was racism or gender discrimination, whatever that is, there were conversations that needed to be had that simply weren't being had. And so what I wanted to do most was simply, one, bring awareness to these issues, specifically child abuse. And then I also wanted to convey the importance of these issues, the importance of getting our young people involved. And I feel as though once people started to understand the impact that this has had on our communities, the impact that it has had on young people, the impact that it has overall had on our nation. And then once people more understood that our young people are the future, that whatever the scenarios we create now are the scenarios they're going to have to live with, I think that's when people really understood that we need to start making our voices heard, that we need to start making the change.
Thank you, Elijah, for that. A person wrote in the chat, I don't have a question. I just want to say how proud of you I am. You give me so much hope. Please continue your work. Someone asked, what are your career goals?
So I actually have some pretty bold career goals. I one day want to grow up and go to Yale University where I can practice law, and I want to practice law in actually Chicago, Illinois. And I want to become a prosecutor just because I feel as though as a prosecutor, I can do so much to benefit young people, especially in the courtroom. When we oftentimes see people who abuse children, there's simply not fair sentencing. And it's also a great way for me to understand what is really going on in our system, because eventually what I want to become is a congressman. And so then that way I can make laws that will overall benefit not only young people, but also people of color, or that can benefit women. And I feel as though that's a courtroom is an amazing place to start to really understand the systemic racism that has been up against us for years to come.
Elijah, what do your peers think of your activism?
So I've been blessed enough to have some amazing friends, some amazing classmates, and some amazing overall peers. What was really cool for me to see is that when I really started having my marches and really started speaking, I had more and more kids come up to me asking for them to get involved, to the point where every weekend before my march, we were having little get-togethers at our house. We were just making signs and we were hanging up flyers around our town. And I think it was then that we really started a movement. And we lived in a very, very small town where you went to church with the same people you went to school with. And so for me to go to a school where it was an everyday topic that I talked about child abuse, where I was an everyday topic by simply people talking about me, they were talking about the issue that I definitely represented. And so my peers were always very supportive. They always made sure they can do everything possible that they can do to help. And that always really did mean a lot to me. And it showed me that I'm not this one in a million kid, but instead there are millions and thousands of other young people just like me who are ready to use their voice. The problem is they simply don't have the resources. And I hope that one day I can teach other kids the importance of going out and finding those resources.
One person asked and says, "You're so young. Were you ever afraid?"
I think there were always those times where I was afraid. I think I was afraid of many things. I was, of course, afraid of the situations that were at hand. I was learning more and more about the racial discrimination that we are still facing today. That definitely scared me. To be a biracial young man in America, that still scares me. And so I think I was always afraid. But something that really helped me was that I had support. I had support from my church. I had support from my family. I had support from teachers and classmates at my school. I had support from my entire community. And that simple support and protection around our young people really made me feel comfortable, with using my voice and being that change I so longingly wished to see. Also, something that really prepared me was having an amazing mom. My mom is definitely someone that I looked up to today, just because I did unfortunately lose my father at the age of 3. So she raised my sister, my two older brothers, and I completely by herself. And that always showed me that even through the midst of our fear, we still have the strength and power enough to get through those obstacles. And so somehow we were able to move to Virginia. Somehow she was able to maintain a job, and somehow she was able to put her 2 young boys through the colleges of their choices. And so that is definitely something that tells me that we have nothing to fear but fear itself.
All right, Elijah. Aren't you doing something with hospitals? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Definitely. So I actually started these things called pediatric safe rooms. And the reason I started them is because, as we all know, if you've ever been to a hospital room, it's very dark, it's very gloomy, it's very grim. It's not a place where someone who has just seen their parents dragged away in handcuffs, someone who has just been all this trauma, someone who has walked through all this pain deserves to go. And I remember that one day I was going to a doctor's office and they put me in this little room and they had these toys and they had these books. And I wanted to create that room in local hospitals because that's where our young people who were victims of child abuse were going. And so I soon realized that that resource was just one more resource that simply wasn't being provided. So I understood that this is something I can work on. Even as a young person, this is one policy that I can implement. So I decided to do that. What I did was I started a GoFundMe, and before I knew it, we had over $3,000 in that GoFundMe. And then on top of that, that GoFundMe and also being a part of the Marvel Hero Project caught the attention of Kelly Clarkson, who gave an additional $1,000 with also much money in Hallmark gift cards, which we are actually going to cash out and give as little stuffed animals they can take home with them. And so we were very, very excited for this. Myself and then also the team of people at the hospital, we were very excited about this. We were ecstatic that we had enough funds to make sure that our hospital room was point A, and it was amazing. What we also learned very quickly is that this is a high demand, that this is also a great need. So we figured out that we're going to actually need 2 of these rooms, and the hospital was kind enough to double all of my funds. And so now we will be building 2 different hospital rooms within my local hospital back in Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina, one in the psych ward, and then also one close to the emergency room. Now, these are going to have some amazing colored walls, some amazing floor pans, and different items where children can simply interact. Kelly Carson provided electronics that we were very excited for them to use. It's overall going to be a very inviting place where kids can, for once, be happy, or kids can once be kids. And so I'm definitely very excited about that, because we're just giving one more opportunity for these young people to be happy after they've been through all of this hurt and pain.
Someone asked, what do you do for fun between your advocacy? Like, do you play an instrument or something?
So I am very family oriented. I think my family has been through enough obstacles to the point where we are very well together. We are not a family that just likes to go on separate roads and constantly be on our electronics. So I definitely enjoy spending time with my family. My younger sister is my best friend. And so we always find a way to get into good trouble, I guess, in a sense. And so that's always really nice. I'm also someone that constantly likes to challenge my brain. So I'm someone that, of course, loves to work on schoolwork. Of course, having those mock trials at our house is very fun to me. I also love to play chess with my mom. And so that's definitely something I do in my fun time too.
Okay. Certainly people want to support you. How would they go about doing that?
So you simply go to my website, which is incredibleelijah.com. And by simply going to that website, you will find all my social media, my GoFundMe. Also, you will get all information for my upcoming march. And you can buy t-shirts, you can buy other supplies needed. And so that's definitely probably the main way and also the easiest way to get in contact with me and also support me.
Okay. And someone wanted to know your full name, and that is?
So my full name is Elijah Kenneth Lee.
Okay, Elijah Kenneth Lee. I am just so blessed to have you here. And I believe now that based upon the questions that have been asked and the comments that are in the chat, that they now understand why I would ask a 13-year-old to keynote our virtual convening, because you are certainly wise beyond your years, and our Bible tells us that a little child shall lead us. And
can we get his website or email again, please?
Okay.
So my website.
Stop your video, please. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So my website is incredibleelijah.com. And it was actually named after my Marvel Hero Project episode. And there you can also find my email and all of my social media.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Elijah. Dee, can you cut your video off for us? Thank you. Oh. Your video. Okay, thanks, Dee. And Elijah's gone. Okay. So thank you, Elijah. And thank you to your mother for allowing you to appear or to be here with us this evening. And we certainly plan to support you. I know you have an upcoming march, the first Saturday in March, and it's going to be virtual, and we certainly are going to be there with you to support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay. At this time, we're going to move from our pre-recorded platform. Of course, this was live. The Elijah's address was live, into our opening plenary session. So at this time, I'm going to ask certainly that our secretary, Ms. Doris McDougall, will prepare herself. Delegates, you were emailed the minutes from the last year's opening plenary session. We will consider those and adopt those. And with this time, I'm going to open up my video. Going to ask Doris McDougall if she would do the same, if you are able to, and the vice presidents as well.
Vice President. Oh.
Pardon? Hello?
Hello.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, the opening plenary session of the Indiana State Conference of the NAACP is now called to order. We are going to ask, I know Reverend Cobb is on the line. I'm going to ask Reverend Cobb if he will open us up in a prayer. I should have asked Elijah if he would have done that. Reverend Arnold has come to port. Reverend Arnold, you going to lead us in a prayer?
Yes.
Opening prayer? Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Father God, we thank you in the name of Jesus. God, we thank you for what our eyes have seen and what our ears have heard. We pray over that young man, Lord, that you would bless him and sustain him throughout his life. Lord, we thank you for the NAACP and its efforts and all that it has done throughout the years. And God, we thank you for this gathering. And we pray the blessings of Jesus right now over all that may go on today and tomorrow and Sunday. God bless this gathering. In the name of Christ, we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Arnold. At this time, I'm going to call on the secretary to do a roll call of our units. If you will respond and unmute yourself so you can respond if you are present. Doris, are you?
Turn it to TV. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Anderson, Madison County. Anderson, Madison County. I know he's here.
Well, he may have left, but he was here, yeah.
Columbus, Bartholomew County. Elkhart.
Here.
Evansville.
Here.
Did you unmute yourself?
Fort Wayne.
Present.
Gary. Barry.
Here, we're present. Gary is present.
Greater Indianapolis.
Present.
Here. We're here.
Yeah, present. Charlie.
Greater Terre Haute.
Here.
Greencastle.
I don't know. What did you say it said?
Greencastle.
No.
Hammond.
Here.
Jeffersonville.
Here.
Kokomo. Kokomo.
Here.
Lafayette. Lafayette. Marion.
Got Crystal on there.
Here.
Excuse me, just a second, Doris. If you are not responding to the, if you're not responding to the roll call vote, please mute yourself again. Please mute yourself if you're not responding to the roll call. Okay, Madam Secretary, you may continue.
Michigan City, LaPorte County.
Here.
Here.
Monroe County.
Here. Here.
Muncie.
Here.
Here.
New Albany.
Present.
Richmond. Richmond.
Here.
South Bend. South Bend. That's it.
Okay, Madam Secretary, how many branches do we have represented?
16.
Okay, well, 16 branches that when we have approximately 18, we do have a quorum. So thank you very much. The next order of business is the adoption of the minutes. The minutes have been sent out to you earlier today. They came with your link. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review them. And so at this time,
I move that the minutes be approved.
I second that motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded that the minutes would be approved as distributed. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Sorry, I did have discussion.
Okay, you have an unreadiness. What is your unreadiness, delegate?
I noticed in the minutes that it says division of the house,
Yes.
and there's nothing else besides that. So what is that?
Typically, when we would be in person, anyone would be able to come to our plenary session, and we would need to separate delegates from observers. Here this evening, we only sent links out to delegates, so there was no need for a division of the house.
I apologize. I apologize. No, I apologize. So in the minutes, division of the house is referring to the fact that there was a division of the house at that time?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. We would typically have delegates either sit in the front and observers in the back, or we'd have them sit on one side of the room or the other. So that was not necessary for us today.
I move the previous question.
All those in favor of the adoption of the minutes, use the sign of aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Thank you very much. So now we move on to the election of committees. Pursuant to our bylaws, we elect 3 committees at this plenary session that will serve for the duration of the virtual convening. They are the Committee on Time and Place, the Committee on Resolutions, and the Committee on Credentials. So at this time, I'm going to open the floor up for nominations for the Time and Place Committee. And let me say this with respect to time and place. Because of our virtual convening and we were not able to meet in October in Lafayette, West Lafayette, and Kokomo as we had originally planned, we have contacted all of the branches who have indicated that they were going to host us in the coming years, that they too will continue to honor that. And next year, if things open,
Watch the glass out there.
keep it mute, keep your self muted unless you need to speak. So again, so we will be, so they have all agreed to honor their commitment to host us in the respective years. So the committee, if elected, this committee would therefore just come back to us with that schedule of our next 3 state conventions. So the floor is now open for nominations to the Time and Place Committee. You can unmute yourself if you need to speak to make a nomination.
I nominate Dr. Kelly.
Okay, Dr. Kelly has been nominated. Are there any
I
other
nominate Sylvester Edwards.
Jocelyn Whitaker.
Okay, I've heard Sylvester and I've heard Jocelyn Whitaker. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, are there any other nominations?
Yes, I, Nancy Cobb, nominate Albertine Dent.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
I move the nomination be closed.
Excuse me, could you tell me the last person's name?
Yes, Albertine Dent from Hammond.
And how does she spell her last name?
D-E-N-T.
Thank you.
Okay, there's a motion to move that the nominations be closed. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
And properly moved and second that the nominations be closed on the names of Calvin Kelly from Fort Wayne, Jocelyn Whitaker from Marion, Sylvester Edwards from Terre Haute, and Albertine Dent from Hammond. All those in favor use the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Now the floor is now open for nominations for the Committee on Resolutions.
I nominate
Barbara,
James Burgess.
Okay. I heard James Burgess's name. Somebody was attempting to properly ask for to be recognized. Who was that?
Brian
Barbara,
Davis.
that was
On the
Jocelyn.
resolution committee.
All right, Can't
Okay,
hear.
Jocelyn, you're nominated.
I would like to nominate Reverend William Vance.
Okay, William Vance.
Crystal Ratcliffe, James Burgess.
Oh, James Burgess already been nominated. Thank you, Crystal.
Okay, I just didn't know if you got it.
Irma Gist, Larry Gist.
You need to mute.
Cut your mute, filling off. Okay.
Irma Gist, Larry Gist.
Okay. Larry Gist. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Ron Davis.
Okay, Ron Davis. Thank you for that nomination, delegate.
I move that the nominations be closed.
And got to make a nomination.
There's been a motion for the nominations to be closed. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Second that motion.
Okay.
Question.
Okay, question. So what we will do is we will vote on the motion to close the debate. Close the nomination. All those in favor of the
Madam
nomination.
President, I think someone had another nomination they wanted to get in.
Okay. Well then, we'll allow that. If someone else has a nomination.
Denise Abdul.
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay. Okay, so any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Is Gary Lavelle been nominated? Vice President Lavelle?
No, he has not.
I'd like to nominate him. And and President Homer Cobb, if he's not already on there.
And Homer Cobb. Okay, I guess the nominations are not closed. All right.
I move that the nominations be closed, please.
You gonna try that again?
I second that.
Okay. It's been properly moved and second that the nominations be closed on the names of James Burgess, William Vance, Larry Gist, Ron Davis, Denise Abdul-Rahman, Gary Lavelle, and Homer Cobb. Excuse me, let me go back and say James Burgess from Anderson, William Vance from Bloomington, Monroe County, Larry Gist, Fort Wayne, Ron Davis, Elkhart, Denise Abdul-Rahman, Indianapolis, Gary Lavelle, Jeffersonville, Homer Cobb, Hammond. You're pretty diverse across the state here. All those in favor use the sign of aye.
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 Okay, opposed, nay. That motion carries. Thank you. That is your resolutions committee. The floor is now open for the credentials committee.
I'd like to nominate Linda Peterson.
Okay, Linda Peterson. You know the nominations?
I nominate Irma Gist.
Irma Gist. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Deborah Smiley, our new lawyer in Gary.
Okay, Deborah Smiley. Any other nominations?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Nancy Cobb.
Nancy Cobb. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Linda Durrell.
Linda Durrell. Okay, any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations?
Sean Johnson.
Pardon?
Sean Johnson from Fort Wayne.
Sean Johnson.
I move the nominations be closed.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that the nominations be closed on the following names: Linda Peterson from Gary, Irma Gist from Fort Wayne, Deborah Smiley from Gary, Nancy Cobb from Hammond, Linda Durrell from Fort Wayne, and Sean Johnson, also from Fort Wayne. Did I have that right, Sean Johnson?
That's correct.
Thank you very much. Okay. All those in favor use the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Thank you very much, delegates. We would typically take annual reports at this time. We did not put that on the agenda because of the format that we have before us. We did ask for the branches of the units to provide us a pictorial or in the year in review, and we thank you for all of the units that participated in that. You saw how nice it was, and we're glad to have that. So the lay down, and typically we would also take the lay down, but we've already accepted the lay down, and the lay down winners will be announced, I believe, tomorrow. Tomorrow, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Becky. And so with that, is there any other business to come before this body before we recess? Is there any other business we need to take care of today? I guess what I would like for us to do is, if any of the committee chairs who have webinars for tomorrow, if you can kind of tell the delegates what your webinar is going to be about, so that they may have an interest in attending.
Come talk, Gary.
Talk.
So Denise Abdul Rahman, and we'll be hosting a environmental, climate justice, and criminal justice webinar. We have a fabulous speaker, Attorney Carlton Mayer II, and he formerly worked for the NAACP and was the director of the criminal justice. He's now his own consultant. He's worked for the Legal Defense Fund, and so he has a phenomenal background. Our program is entitled The Intersections of Police Reform and Environmental Climate Justice. It's Saturday at 10 a.m. And we look to see you there, and we hope to pass 3 resolutions. So looking forward to your attendance. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Anybody else want to talk about their webinar that's coming up for tomorrow?
Madam President, Madam President, this is not my webinar, but you and I talked about this, and this is probably the hottest subject in the news right now. We do have a webinar at 12 noon tomorrow under the health, physical and mental health banner. There is a young lady who is a participant. She's a Gary resident, and she is a participant in the Moderna vaccine study. And she is also the director of public health and governmental and external affairs for Novartis. Her name is Vicki Walton. She will be speaking tomorrow at noon. She will be talking about the protocol that she can discuss, all that she can discuss, and what she's gone through as part of the Moderna trial. And she'll also be talking about, I guess, just vaccination protocol and safety, and her role in working with communities of color and disadvantaged communities to get understanding, acceptance, and comfort with the COVID vaccines that are coming out. So I think that's going to be I am not the moderator. Dr. Sharon Ligon, if those of you that know her, she is the moderator, but I wanted to just put that out there because I think it's going to be a great session and questions and things like that. So thank you, Madam President.
Thank you for lifting that one up. Anyone else want to talk? I see Reverend Vance, President Vance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
All right. Barbara, this will be my first year as Labor and Industry Chair. And Barbara asked me to get in contact with Last Parking, and we will have 2 speakers tomorrow. Eric Daigle and Alan Lazuski. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I'll make sure I'm pronouncing it right tomorrow. Alan is going to, his family has been through the Holocaust, and he is going to tell us a little bit about that. And he is going to tie that to the reason that they got involved with the Million Jobs campaign. So that is why we asked them to present tomorrow. So it should be pretty interesting. I believe Mr. Daigle will probably talk about the jobs that they're offering. That'll be it.
Thank you.
It's from 10 a.m. to 12 noon.
10 a.m. to 12?
10 a.m. to 11.
Oh, is it till 11?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2
We're
11.
gonna try to get another hour in.
Well, Front Runner, our media company says that you can maybe go over 5 minutes, but
Okay.
I don't think they want you to go another hour.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to talk about there? We now have heard from that 10 to 11 hour, and then we've heard of the one at 12 to 1. Anybody else want to speak about their webinar the schedule for tomorrow?
Hi.
Lady, you're unmuted. You're gonna speak.
Who is that that has that radio on?
That's somebody in the background, Sadie, if you want to speak.
Hello. Barbara, this is all Eastern Standard Time, right?
Everything is Eastern Standard Time. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So Sadie, were you planning to say something about your webinar?
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Sadie Harper Scott, Hillary Shelton from 11 o'clock, and he will talk about now that the election. So he's excited, inspiring, have lots of information that he will be presented to us. So
it's one whole egg. I'm going to process this for 10 seconds until
Hillary has to say.
If you're please mute yourself if you're not speaking. We are getting some background noises. Please mute yourself if you're not speaking.
But we still want it to be crumbled. Okay. We don't want to see any dry ingredients.
Okay, Sadie, do you want to continue?
I'm done. Yeah.
Okay.
He's excited as he's prepared to bring us his presentation. So thank you all so much.
And your webinar is what time?
11 o'clock.
Okay.
11 o'clock sharp.
Okay.
And this is Rossi Tolliver. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
We've got the veteran workshop from 11 to 12, and we're going to be discussing political bills and the political aspects of the veterans, as well as we've got a health nurse that's going to talk about veterans' health. And it should be really stimulating. And I want to throw in a lot about trying to get some veteran workshops during the year.
Okay. Thank you very much. And what time is your webinar?
I'll say it from 11 to 12.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at something in the chat. Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Barbara, this is Jocelyn. I am not doing a workshop, but since Hillary is going to be speaking, and the Supreme Court knocked down the voter suppression group coming out of Texas with Cruz, and our own Mike Braun and his comments and so on. So I think it would be apropos for us to hear what Hillary has to say about the latest breakdown in the tirade. The 45th has gone off on today.
Okay, thank you very much. There's another that's another endorsement of the political action workshop. Anyone else want to talk about a workshop? Because I was going to talk about some of them if nobody else talks about them, because I think we've assembled some outstanding webinars for you for tomorrow. Anybody want to talk about any of them? Okay, I will speak about the redistricting. As you know, when we finish the census count, it's now time to draw the lines. This is the time when we redraw the lines, when we try to make the districts fair, that we make sure that everybody's represented. And as we know, that's not the case here in Indiana. And where we were supportive of the legislature passing a bill to open this process up for citizens to be a part of the redistricting commission and to help draw the lines, they declined to do so. So pursuant to our Indiana statute, and it may even be our constitution, that is squarely within the purview of the General Assembly. So, but that has not stopped us from having a citizens redistricting commission. I served on it back in 2011, and the applications are now open for 9 people to be selected to be part of a shadow citizens redistricting commission. And what that commission will do, that commission will travel around the state just as the legislative commission will do, to hear from the voices of the people throughout the state of Indiana on what criteria, when you draw the maps, are uppermost in the minds and the desires of the Hoosiers here. So I encourage you to, one, be part of that webinar. Jamal Watkins is the vice president of the vice president of civic engagement. Jamal is from the national office. He is the vice president of civic engagement. He is going to be here to conduct that webinar. So I encourage you to attend the redistricting one, and then I also encourage you to apply for one of those 9 positions to be part of the Citizens Redistricting Commission.
Quick question, Madam President.
Yes, sir.
So will they be looking for representation representing the entire state?
Yes, that commission represents the entire state.
So they will be looking all around.
Yes, they will, and they will. But from all of the applications, they will only be selecting 9. And what they have decided, and what their criteria is that they're looking to appoint 3 Democrats. They're looking to appoint 3 Republicans and 3 people who are neither Democrat or Republican. So that's
Thank you.
the 9, but they can.
Thank you, Madam President.
You are welcome, delegate. All right. Anyone else wants to speak on one of the other remaining webinars? Okay, I will talk with you. I will speak then up on Protest to Power. That's coming through our Youth and College Division. It will be presented by Carrie Walls, who is our state Youth and College president, and Mr. Wisdom Cole, who is from the national office. Wisdom's been around now for probably about 2 years. Those of you who attended the Evansville regional conference, I think it was last year. Wisdom made his debut there. He's a very intelligent, knowledgeable young man, and I love that title, Protest to Power. So that's our young folks. I want you to encourage, if you have young folks, to support that workshop. I know the youth in college are going to come in on one of the other workshops that we're presenting, but certainly we're welcome to go and sit in on their workshops and participate as well. Then there will be a legal redress workshop under the direction of James Dillon, who is our state legal redress chairperson. His presenter is Anthony Ashton. He is new on the legal in the legal department at the national office. His title is Director of Affirmative Litigation. So what he explained to us that means is that instead of we always kind of get behind when something happens, then we rush to stop it or maybe to support it. But we're going to be looking around for cases similarly to what Thurgood Marshall did when he worked for the NAACP. When they brought forth the Brown versus Board Education cases, that didn't just start the year before. They had been working on that with the strategy. And so therefore, this is what Attorney Ashton is planning to do. That in his role is to look at cases or situations that are out there, and to think and decide whether maybe we need to do some legal action to try to move that needle further. So I encourage you to go to his. He's brand new with the association. He's worked with the association as outside counsel before, but this is his new time working for the association. I see Crystal's hand up here. Crystal, are you going to talk about one of the webinars? If you're not, then I'd like to go in and finish those up. Your hand is up. No? Okay. Okay, no, you don't want to. All right. Then we have a Know Your Rights webinar that's also youth in college. And our own Carrie Walls will be the presenter for that one. Because it's important that our young folks and our older people too know your legal rights and know your rights. And the last one, and certainly not the least one, certainly near and dear to my heart, is an AXO workshop. Now, you saw that young lady perform. Was she not phenomenal? She is not the only talented person in the state of Indiana, talented young person. And all you have to do is look around your respective communities and young folks who are extremely talented, not just the kind in the performing arts or the visual arts, but also in the STEM subject matters. So, and now that they've added hospitality as well, and also culinary. So the AXO program is recognizing that certainly we are not monolithic. We have many and diverse talents and interests, and they are here to support those. So if you do not have an AXO program currently, if you would like to have an AXO program, or if you need to know more information about having an AXO program, then I encourage you to attend the AXO webinar. Gina Payne did an amazing job today explaining and giving you an overview about what AXO is, and then Naomi Martin showed you what AXO is. So now it's your turn to come out and get the information about what AXO is. Thank you. So now, is there anything else to come before us before we recess?
Madam President?
Yes, sir. Gary Lavelle.
I just want to bring it to our attention. Just a minute. Okay, I want to bring to our attention, we had the committees that you established tonight, and we didn't determine how they are to set up the first meeting and who would be responsible for doing that.
As our tradition throughout our state, the first person nominated has the responsibility for calling the first meeting. That doesn't mean that they're going to be the chair of that committee. That's what the committee will do, one of their first acts when they meet. But under time and place, that was Calvin Kelly. He was nominated first. Under resolutions, James Burgess was nominated first, and I'm not concerned that he's not with us, because he's not new to this process, so he'll know what to do. But he is the person who was nominated first. And then under the credentials committee, Linda Peterson was nominated first. Okay. So if we can help you, if you need to set up a Zoom call to meet with your committee members, we'd be happy to do that. Also, while we still have you here, we want to say that when you attend the webinars, you should be attending them with an eye toward improving something that is brought up as a problem, as an issue, as a concern. You should come out of that webinar with some ideas about putting together a resolution. Then that's how you change policy in the NAACP, is through resolution. So you should be coming out of those webinars thinking about a resolution that you can submit. Okay, and resolutions can be submitted to the email indianaNAACP@gmail.com. Okay. Any other?
Barbara Boland? I just have a quick question.
Sure.
Because there are probably some people that are on these committees that have never been on them.
Can you turn down one of your devices?
I don't have it. I'm sorry. There's people that's on here that's not been on the committees. So I know we just explained that the first person calls the meeting, but can you let us know when that we have to have feedback for the different committees, please?
Okay, you said you know that the first person who was nominated calls the meeting. I didn't hear what you said after that. I'm sorry.
I was saying that to let everyone know that when the results from these committees need to be brought forward.
Okay, yes. So when I said that we would be in recess at the conclusion of this meeting this evening, that means that we're not in adjournment, because when you adjourn, you're finished, and our work is ongoing. So all of these committees will report out on Sunday afternoon at our closing plenary session. The closing plenary session will be to receive the reports of the committees that were elected here this evening. Any other questions?
This is Linda Peterson. Can the credentials committee meet at 3 o'clock? Can you arrange for us to Zoom?
Okay, so 3 o'clock on tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, credentials. Okay. We will get that that Zoom link out to you, so that and we will invite all the people on your committee, or on the committee. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other committee? Any other
Madam President.
Huh?
This is Dr. Kelly at Time and Place.
Mm-hmm.
I also would like you to help set up a Zoom meeting so I can speak with my team, or our team together.
And what time would you like that?
And
what day?
I like that tomorrow also.
Okay. At what time?
Pick a time. I would like to meet earlier, 2, but I don't know if it's good for everybody else. 2 or 4.
Well, the only thing I've got, let me just kind of say to you, you know, we have webinars that are going on until 3 o'clock. So if you meet any time before 3, then you're probably interfering with the webinars.
Tell you what I'll do. Let me go. I'll call my team, and we'll see what time would be good for all of us.
Okay. And when you find that out, then just let us know. We can set that meeting up for you.
All right.
And bear in mind, because we don't come back together until Sunday afternoon at 3, Sunday morning is an option for you too, for hosting you having your meetings. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, in the
Yes,
absence of Brother Burgess, could we go ahead and tentatively set one up for 4 o'clock Saturday?
Okay, we will do that.
The resolution. I'll try to get in touch with him.
Okay. You know, he has his radio show in the morning.
Okay, well, I figured the afternoon be better. So I'll try to get in touch with him and let him know for a 4 o'clock meeting.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Anyone else before we recess?
Miss Linda wanted to have hers at 3 o'clock. You said seminars run until 3. Is it possible you do it at 3:30?
Fine.
Okay. Okay.
Is that Eastern Standard or Central?
All our times are on Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah, all of our times are on Eastern. When we made the decision, we realized that out of the 92 counties in Indiana, only 2 are on Central. So we lost.
Gary and Hammond, we're at 2 o'clock.
I
said Gary and Hammond, we are 2 o'clock.
You're still in
right?
Lake County. You're in Lake County. Yeah. You're, like I said, there's only 2 counties, Lake and Evansville, and that's Vanderburgh County. That's Vanderburgh. And actually a little tiny bit of LaPorte, because they're on Central Time too. Anyway, okay. Anybody else? Any other business?
Is this going to be a Zoom meeting for the committee meetings, or who's going to set the Zoom meeting up? Or how's that going to work?
We'll be responsible. The planning committee will be responsible for setting up the Zoom meetings for you.
Okay. All right. And that was 3 p.m. for resolution.
4
o'clock for resolutions.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam, I asked Miss Linda if we could change it till 3:30 instead of 3 o'clock.
Yeah, she did. I have that down.
Our committee.
Okay. Crystal, you have your hand up.
Yes. So my question is that when we click on the link tomorrow, which I apologize, I didn't get a chance to do to see if there was something for us to see there. But if we click on that link for tomorrow, will it show us the actual webinars that are going on at that time, or will we just kind of have a webinar session 1 and 2?
Okay. If you notice that there was a link for each webinar, so whichever webinar that you chose, it was a multicolored grid that was on your link. That so okay. When you look at that, each webinar has its own unique link. So you can go in and out of the webinars that you choose.
Okay.
But in order to get in them, then you got to click on that particular link.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. And will these, once again, I believe someone else asked, are these going to be recorded for us to see later?
They did tell us that this virtual convening is going to be recorded. We didn't ask if specifically it was going to be the webinars as well, but it's part of it. So I would presume that that's the case.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam
Thank
President.
you, Madam Chair.
Madam President, this is Dr. Kelly again.
Yes, sir.
Could you give me the names of everyone that's on time and place?
Time and place is Calvin Kelly, Jocelyn Whitaker, Sylvester Edwards, and Denise Abdul Rahman. Denise, you're on 2 committees.
No, that was Albertine Dent.
Oh, is that Albertine Dent?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, can't read. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I can't read my handwriting. I appreciate that. Thank you, Irma. Yeah, Albertine Dent. Okay. I better do better on writing this down. Okay. I should let the secretary read that back. Okay.
Madam Chair, can you give me, this is Linda, can you give me my people?
Okay. I don't want to take over the secretary's duty. Do you mind, Madam
Well,
Secretary?
no. Oh, whoever.
Okay. The members of the Credentials Committee, Linda Peterson, Irma Guest, Deborah Smiley, Nancy Cobb, Linda Durrell, and
John Johnson.
John Johnson. Okay. Thank you, Madam
Thank you.
Anytime.
All the time.
I don't want to take over,
I'm sorry.
Nobody wants to do more than what they're supposed to do.
No, I don't want to take over anybody else's time,
That's what I said. What we're supposed to do, we want to be able to do. We want to stay in our lanes. Okay. Anyone else? Any other unreadiness? At this time, we'll entertain a motion to recess.
Motion
Saturday.
to recess.
I second it.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second that we will be in recess until Sunday afternoon at approximately 3 o'clock.
Saturday.
Sunday.
Oh, for the plenary, not tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, the rest of it is not business sessions. These are business sessions.
Okay.
So, okay. So all those in favor use the sign of aye.
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 Opposed, nay. That motion carries. Thank you. What did you think about day 1?
Great
Good job.
Great
job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Good
work.
job.
Nice job.
Awesome.
Loved it.
Victory.
Good night.
That music was jamming at the beginning.
We wasn't going to be able to pull it off.
Great
They
show.
done it. They
Great
said it couldn't be
show.
done.
Very well.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone.
I would like to invite everyone to my room. We're going to have a party.
I would love to come, but COVID.
Are you going to have some Hennessy?
And it will be.
I was wondering where the delegate reception was.
It will be social
I was thinking the same thing myself.
Are you going to have some, are you going to have, Larry, you going to have some Hennessy?
We need to have a toast for Good this night, one. y'all. Good night.
Just send it by drone.
I would have drove to you now.
We got it. Everyone, we got it.
I'm gonna bring over a bottle of wine.
A toast to the convening.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Indiana.
See you tomorrow.
Bring the
CP virtual convening. Tomorrow, the schedule will begin at 10 a.m. with the first of several webinars. Also on tap, an AXO performance and a memorial service. You'll meet the executive committee and we'll have an awards presentation. So get ready for another full day of activities. We'll see you then. Have a great evening.
I'd almost forgotten.